This is Sakamoto Talks Biology. I'm Manabu Sakamoto, lecturer in zoology. I'm also a paleontologist by training. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 3 dinosaurs. Number 3, we have Iguanodon, which is this dinosaur here. Iguanodon is the oldest dinosaur to be named, or the first dinosaur to be named. It was discovered in 1822 but named in 1825 by British paleontologist Gideon Mantell. Iguanodon means iguana teeth, and that is because the tooth of Iguanodon looks exactly like that of an iguana, a living lizard. But unlike an iguana, Iguanodon's teeth are huge compared to an iguana. And so this dinosaur was fascinated paleontologists and anatomists at that time because it was such a big animal. It was huge. And along with 2 other giant animals, in 1842, Richard Owen then named the 3 animals as a distinct group called Dinosauria. And that's where the word dinosaurs come from. And so Iguanodon is really important because it formed the basis of the name dinosaurs that we actually already know very well now. Personally, Iguanodon's really important to me because it is the first dinosaur fossil I actually saw in my real life. So there was an exhibition in Tokyo where about a dozen Iguanodon's fossils from Belgium came, and my dad took me to see it, and that is really the reason I'm a paleontologist today. Number 2 is Deinocheirus. Deinocheirus is a very strange dinosaur. In the middle of the 20th century, a pair of arms, gigantic arms, were discovered with these huge claws, and no one really could figure out what this dinosaur was. The closest relative of it was thought to be an ostrich dinosaur. So these are dinosaurs that looked like ostriches, probably running really fast. But Deinocheirus was much bigger than an ostrich dinosaur. It was huge. But then about 50 years later, after so much mystery, several new specimens were discovered that were complete skeletons. And they actually showed the rest of the body, and the rest of the body was way more bizarre than anybody could ever have imagined. So it basically is a giant camel with a duck head. And finally, my number 1 dinosaur is Deinonychus. Deinonychus literally means terrible claw, and it was discovered in 1969-1970s by paleontologist John Ostrom. And it is my number 1 dinosaur because it is the dinosaur that revolutionized dinosaur science. So before the discovery of Deinonychus, or the description of Deinonychus, dinosaurs were considered to be these giant cold-blooded lumbering lizards that were too stupid and too slow to survive, and that's why they went extinct. So that was the mainstream kind of idea about dinosaurs. But then John Ostrom, when he described Deinonychus, he basically realized that Deinonychus was very bird-like, and it had features that made it very agile, very quick, very active. And in order for it to be this active and agile, it could only have been warm-blooded. And so that then revolutionized the idea of dinosaurs being these lumbering, cold-blooded lizards towards a more warm-blooded, active animal. And Deinonychus is actually well popularized in the film series Jurassic Park. Even though it's not called Deinonychus, the on-screen depiction of the Velociraptor is actually a Deinonychus. And the reason there is Velociraptor mongoliensis is a species from Mongolia, but the filmmakers actually renamed the Deinonychus antiropus from North America as Velociraptor antiropus. So that's actually a detail in the novel. And finally, I just want to talk a little bit about the skull of Deinonychus. This is a model of a Deinonychus skull. It's actually a little bit bigger than you'd imagine a Deinonychus skull to be. But you can see some bird-like features in Deinonychus skull. So for instance, these large round or circular orbits where the eyeball would have been, long snout, And these kind of gracile looking skull elements. These bones are quite thin and narrow. The bit here is where the jaw muscle would have been, and the amount of muscles that would have been housed within this skull would have been not very powerful enough to provide very powerful biting in these animals. However, they do have these razor sharp teeth, and so they were probably slashing away at their prey rather than biting really down on them. So that was my top 3 dinosaurs. I hope this video helped you know more about them.